Captain Ibrahim Traoré has humbled France. You won't believe Emmanuel Macron is on his knees begging the French military bases to come back to Burkina Faso. You won't believe this. After them being expelled in these three nations, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, France is in huge debts as we are talking. And when we tell you that Western nations can never survive without Africa, most of you think it's a big joke, but it's happening. France is in huge debts, and that is the reason as to why you usually see them sending their delegations each and every moment to Africa to actually try beg these leaders to have mutual friendship again. And let me tell you, these three presidents are unstoppable. They're there to flip the pages that were written with these Western nations. They can never allow them back again. You won't believe these people used to exploit African resources for free, and even sometimes in very small portion of amount. And that's the reason as to why when these presidents realized that what these Western nations were doing in their country, they said enough is enough and decided to send them away. And now you can see what's happening in France. They are on their knees begging to come back to Africa. What do you think?
Faso. France is now sending a European Union representative to go to Burkina Faso and try to talk to Ibrahim Traoré and tell Ibrahim Traoré that he allows France to get back to Burkina Faso and continue mining the gold in Burkina Faso. And they are saying that this time around they are going to have a deal with Burkina Faso where everybody wins. Burkina Faso benefits and France benefits. And let me tell you, Ibrahim Traoré said no. And he said the end has come for France. The end of working with France came to an end when he took power in 2022. They have even been trying to take him down, and now they are begging him, and he said no, never will it happen. So France's economy is now crumbling and there is a lot of crisis. They are crying, and just the other day they voted a vote of no confidence for France government. The cars in their car yards are piling up because they don't have a market where they can sell it because they were chased out of Africa, and now they are desperate and sending people now to try to talk to our captain Ibrahim Traoré to allow them to get back to Burkina Faso.
Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso and Niger and Mali are single-handedly almost bringing France's economy to its knees. Can you see the power Africa has? And at the end of the day, why can't France just do business with Burkina Faso as equal partner? Why must they be colonial masters? Now you can see, because Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso have shut the door of business against France, or stop them from looting, from stealing basically their resources, allegedly. Now France's economy is on its knees. Guys, is this a good thing or bad thing?
France President Emmanuel Macron is asking for a chance to create a new relationship with Burkina Faso, that they should forget about everything that has happened before and start all over from beginning. And all this is because they want to convince Ibrahim Traoré to allow their military bases in Burkina Faso. But Ibrahim Traoré is asking one question. You are friends with Canada, you are friends with USA, you are friends with UK. Why don't you have military bases there? Why do you want to have military base in Burkina Faso? The moment they labeled Burkina Faso as the red zone, that was the end for them. Can you imagine this? They stopped their flight from Burkina Faso and then later on come begging that they want to return to Sahel region, that they want to return to Burkina Faso. That they want to return to Burkina Faso and trying to convince everyone not to go to Burkina Faso because it's not safe for them. But later on, they realized that they lost a lot of money and they want to return to Burkina Faso. They thought that Ibrahim Traoré will go begging for them to come back, but it was the other way around. And now they are begging for a relationship with Ibrahim Traoré because they have seen how beneficial it is to keep them in business.
Is in a $3.6 trillion debt. That is crazy, but it does not stop there. With every second, the debt grows by $6,000. That is crazy. It seems without Africans' resources, they all go broke and they need us. That's why they have been sending representatives to Africa to beg, let us come back. Well, Africans are saying no, we don't want you here. Do you remember when Macron went on television and he said that Africa needs us? Africa should be thanking us, which is just crazy. Well, right now, he sees the repercussions. He sees we are not playing around. We have woken up. This news is coming right after they have just handed back their last military base in Senegal. So right now, as I speak, France does not have any military base in Senegal, and they don't have any military personnel over there. So this is just crazy. So after being kicked out of West Africa and realizing that Russia is actually helping West Africa, they have decided to go to a weaker country. They have decided to go and steal the resources from a weaker country. And guess which country? That is Madagascar. Yes, they are stealing the islands of Madagascar. So
France is in a mess, total mess. They are in debt, and their debt is 3.8 trillion, and every second it increases by about 6,000 US dollars. These are the people that are parading themselves all over the world, telling we the Africans that we are poor. Just 3 nations kicking France out of Africa has brought France to its knees. How much if all of us should unite and kick all these people, whether the British, whoever, out of the continent? No wonder these people are putting pressure on AU to make sure that they send them out. But this time it's not going to work. And even AU was quick in telling us that they have to be very careful about this youth. If they don't do something concerning the youth today in Africa, they are sitting on a time bomb. Please go to my YouTube page, the latest.gen1, and watch this video. Listen to the things that AU is planning. France is down to 0. We are the reason to which these people are where they are. They can never survive without us. We give them everything. Forget about what AU and EU and ECOWAS and whatever these organizations all over the world and in Africa are saying is never true. Like African Union will tell us that they are being funded by them. They don't have funds, that's why they can't do anything. It's because they have decided to give all the mineral resources to them. That is why they cannot do anything. So we have to wake up. And all that they can give us as leaders in Africa is democracy. Please, China is not a democratic country. Yet China is the one that is building your rules. So let us be, because there is no democratic leader in this world. If truly these people are democratic as they claim, they wouldn't be imposing their system of governance on us. And when they even ask us to do something and we decide not to do, they sanction us. These people are dictators. So we also prefer to have dictators who dictate the right thing. And if you have energy to fight against people, go to Uganda, go to Cameroon, go to Togo, go to Kenya, go to Africa, the leaders who have changed the constitution and they are in power for this number of years. Start fighting them before you come and fight us. But all the same, we are happy that they are falling, because Africa cannot have all these raw materials, and we will continue to be.
France's economy is in dilemma right now. So it's been reported that more than 50,000 jobs lost. So people are filing for bankruptcy. So it's only 3 countries that stop France from robbing their natural resources. Imagine if it was all African countries telling France to stop robbing their natural resources. What will happen to the France economy? So France without Africa.
But if anyone's paying attention, you can all see that Ibrahim Traoré is clearly one of the most consequential leaders, not just in Africa, not just in the Muslim world, but in the entire global south, and in fact in the world. You know, I said on X the other day that Ibrahim Traoré is the most important Muslim leader in the world today. More than Erdogan, more than MBS, more than anyone else, because of what he represents. You know, of course, I had a lot of fake Pan-Africanists in my comment section getting mad about the fact that I was referring to Ibrahim Traoré as a Muslim leader, because they only want to identify him exclusively as a black leader or as exclusively as an African leader. They don't want to acknowledge the fact that he is a Muslim, because in their CIA-produced Pan-Africanism, they're ready to exclude 500 million Africans from Africa. They're so propagandized in their mind by the CIA and by the intelligence that they think being African and being Muslim is a contradiction. They've fallen for the old divide and rule tactics of the colonizers. Their indoctrinated brains will short circuit over the inconvenient fact that the most admired and the most heroic leaders in Africa today are Muslims. In Burkina Faso, in Niger, in Senegal, even Naledi Pandor in South Africa is a Muslim, taking the Israel to the ICJ. Just because Ibrahim Traoré doesn't wear his religion on his sleeve, and just because he doesn't takwa signal, all the time like some so-called Islamists, you think we don't get to claim him as part of our ummah? We don't get to say that he's a Muslim leader, but he is a Muslim leader. He's an African leader who's a Muslim. And I'm sorry to tell you, but again, the fact of the matter is that the best leaders you have in Africa today are the ones who are Muslims. You can get mad about it all you want. You can say, why does Shahid have to bring up religion? Why do you have to bring religion into it? But that's just a way of gaslighting about the fact that you don't want religion to be brought into it. You want to keep religion out of it. No, Ibrahim Traoré is fighting those Western-backed, Western-trained, Western-funded jihadi groups because he's a Muslim. Nobody has suffered more from those mercenaries than the Muslims have. Suffered more from their violence and suffered more from the warped image of Islam that spread by their violence. Now, when Ibrahim Traoré stands up to those French and Ukrainian-backed psychopaths, he's standing up for real Islamic values, whether you like it or not. From the perspective of Middle Nation, from my perspective, from the prism through which we analyze the struggle for justice and sovereignty and dignity, Ibrahim Traoré's emergence is nothing short of historic. I mean, alhamdulillah, we have many great Muslim leaders in the world today, despite what everyone says. We have great leaders, many. But in my opinion, Ibrahim Traoré is the most important.
France wanted to reestablish relations with Burkina Faso, and if you've seen Macron giving a pretty ridiculous speech trying to say one day they'll thank us for helping them, no, they just wanted you to leave them alone. Anyway, Traoré said that in order to reestablish relations with France, that France is going to have to return all of the gold that they have stolen from Burkina Faso's mines, and all of this gold that they have is sitting in reserves in France. France is trying to say that that gold is theirs. It comes from mines in France. There are no gold mines in France. So now the US is getting involved. And we can all guess what those claims are going to be. Now we're seeing the claim, oh, he's stealing all the gold for himself and he's not helping his people. The next they're going to be like, we need to bring democracy to Burkina Faso, like those typical things that the US says in order to manufacture consent for invasion and ultimately backing a coup, which I'm sure they have already tried. Them, France, and anybody else who benefits from the gold exploitation of African nations, which includes those fake Muslim countries like the UAE. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for saying that. But there's a reason why a lot of these nations are not coming to the aid of Palestinians and are also thriving off of the exploitation of natural resources from nations in Africa. Anyway, I'm hoping this gets picked up by American TikTok, but we'll see. And as we go along, you're probably going to hear a lot of comparisons of Thomas Sankara to Ibrahim Traoré. Sankara was a leader almost exactly like Traoré around 1970s in Burkina Faso. I have one of his speeches pinned.
Now we've heard what these people have to say, and in all honesty, Africa is tired, and Burkina Faso has had enough. The days of France calling the shots in Africa like we are still in 1800 is over. It's also done and buried, and the person that is leading is no other person than Ibrahim Traoré, who is a fearless young leader that is not here to play games with the West. Burkina Faso said, just like they said au revoir to French troops, and believe it or not, France is now the one begging to come back. Yes. After the case of exploitation, military bases and hidden control, France is reportedly pressuring Traoré's government to let them set up shop again. But this time, Traoré isn't blinking. He's standing his ground for his people and for all of Africa. Now, let's not forget how he started. Traoré took over power with one mission, and that's to take back Burkina Faso from terrorism, corruption, and foreign influence. And so far, he's walking the walk. and he's walking the talk. He's kicking out foreign troops that have done more harm than good, strengthening ties with other African nations and building homegrown solutions to local problems. And guess what? Other African countries are watching and following. Mali, Niger, Guinea, the dominoes are falling. A new wave of Pan-Africanism is rising and is a good one, and Burkina Faso is the heartbeat of the revolution. So when France comes knocking, desperate to re-establish its military base, that's not just irony, it's history flipping the script. This isn't just about Burkina Faso anymore. This is about Africa reclaiming its voice, its power, and its independence. And with leaders like Ibrahim Traoré, I believe the continent is finally waking up and saying, we don't need you people, we've got ourselves. Well, let me know what you think in the comment section, but before then, please kindly like, share, and subscribe.
Going to the oppressors and the colonizers and saying, we don't want your fake help. We don't want your fake help. We're okay. And this wouldn't be fine shit. As a Jamaican, I am so proud of this man. I'm so happy to see a man like this in my time, in my generation, right now. And honestly, I live in America as well. And I know that Black Americans and Black people in America right now in a resting phase. And it just come to me, I was like, the reason why we don't have any energy for the American fight, for the fight for America, is because it's not our fight. Our fight belongs in Africa. Our fight belongs for Africa. No, I'm not going to tell anybody what to do. I'm not that type. But speaking for me, this is what I care about. I care about this most. And I'm from Jamaica. Don't get me wrong. I love Jamaica. I love my culture. I love my people. I'm very proud to be Jamaican. But if I'm going to give any energy and effort for a piece of land, it's going to be the land and the continent of Africa. Because the very Rasta man will say Jamaica is capture land and Africa is the motherland. Because we cannot be good no matter where we are in this world. We won't get the respect that we want and deserve. We won't be seen as valuable as we should be seen if Africa is not where it should be. You get me, I say? And this is the beginning of it. And the way how this man is divinely guided and protected, this man is covered. 18 assassination attempts, and he's been president since 2022. 2-3 years, 18 assassination attempts. Why? Because he's not allowing them to put them hand in his country anymore. He's not allowing them to rape them anymore. Him say, no, we don't need your fake help. Move and go. Worry about your country. I'm worrying about my country. Relax, we got it. We literally have the resources that you keep taking, so we'll be fine. We have it. The resources you use to build your country and make your country powerful, it's ours. So what we need your help for? Why are you here?
What you about to do, you going after Ibrahim Traoré, all right? That is what you're thinking in your head. That is what your mind is telling you. I know most of the Western education only taught you guys to know one thing. You don't just think beyond whatever you are told to do. But we Africans, we are way beyond that level. We've crossed the border. We've seen everything. Listen, guys. Traoré, Captain Traoré, is not just a name. I don't know if you get that. I want to say that again. Captain Traoré is not just a name anymore. It's not a name of a village. It's no longer a name of a person. It's no longer a name of a city. It's no longer a name of a nation. It's no longer a name of a team. It is the air you breathe. Captain Traoré is the mountain, is the water, is the sea, is the ocean, is everything. Okay, let me break it down to you if you don't understand what I mean, okay? Captain Traoré, all right? It is the spirit. It is a mindset. It is a concept. It is an awakening. It is an understanding. It is what everybody that you see around you, you know, your caregivers, your Uber driver, your truck driver, your tractor, or your contractors in your military, there are Ibrahim Traoré mindsets all around you. You don't just realize it. This is not you trying to use bomb cannot kill air. Okay? Bomb cannot destroy the air you breathe. You cannot, because it has become like the air you breathe. You can't catch it. You can't capture it. You can't destroy it. You can't eliminate it. You can. You just have to accept the condition. Go back home, okay? We done feeding you. Africa is done feeding the West. Africa is done feeding France. Africa is done taking care of your babies. It's done taking care of your roads. It's done taking care of your air system. It's done taking care of whatever it is that we have been doing. We say, hey, we've raised you enough to take care of yourself. You getting the point? We have raised you guys enough to take care of yourself. Your highways, your waterways, your airways, we've done enough for you. We've given you enough reserve to serve you, but enough is enough. I know you're just 47 years old, baby, you're going through your own crisis, but we want to fix something in Africa, and we don't need any foreigner. Listen, guys, this is a mind game. This West, they're playing a mind game with Africans. And wherever you are, that you have this color of skin, I want you to understand that this is not just about Captain Ibrahim Traoré. No, it is way bigger than that. We are working. We've been working day and night, waiting for this moment to breathe. We've been waiting for this moment to see how we are able to lift our motherland. Africans are treated all over the world like we are a nobody. But we have come a long way. We've tolerated nonsense for too long. We've tolerated and accommodated nonsense for too long. Listen, we've been in big rooms. We've been in small rooms. We've been in media rooms. We've come from everywhere. But we understand right now that we can stand by ourselves. We can stand by ourselves. So it hurts to a finger. To Ibrahim Traoré, Captain Ibrahim Traoré finger is a hurt to millions of Ibrahim Traoré all over the world. You don't even know what you're about to mess with. You don't understand what you are messing with. You cannot even imagine what is coming. You don't know yet. You don't know yet. You just little go back home, you run into America. You running back to America to come and help you, to come and do this. And you, my brother, what's wrong with you, General? General Lins, what's wrong with you? What's going on in your head? Obama messed up. You want to mess up? What's going on with you? With the little power you are given to, you want to go to Africa? Even if Captain Traoré is a dictator and is leading the people and we are getting the result, how does that hurt America? How does that hurt France? Listen, we don't care about no country, any continent no more. We will do our business the way we want our business done. Democracy, you guys don't understand what democracy is. And we don't even care to know your definition of democracy. I'm sending this out to you again. I want you to understand that if a finger, just a finger of Captain Traoré is hurt, you're gonna regret the rest of your life. Even your bone will feel it. I'm telling you this. Your bone will feel it. Your children, your great grandchildren, they will feel it. Everything, your road will feel it. The air you breathe, you'll feel it. Stop it. What I'm gonna tell you, just stop it. Africans, listen, this is a mind game. Do you try to play a mind game with us? All this nonsense example they are giving you to be afraid. No, we're no longer afraid. We're no longer afraid. We're not afraid of nothing. Zero. We're not afraid of nothing anymore.
Doesn't work anymore. I think people are aware enough. Now people have their eyes open. Through communication, they managed to rewrite history. And as for African history, they schemed everything to spread lies. As a result, some young Africans don't even know the history of Africa or what Africa has accomplished. Some don't even know that our grandparents fought, were put on the front lines as cannon fodder, and when they returned, they were killed like animals. Do people know that when France tested its first atomic bomb, it was black soldiers they placed nearby in the blast radius to see what would happen? Let's bring out the archives. Everything they've used against Africa is terrible. So all of this needs to be communicated so that young Africans understand, because there are still many who are asleep and continue to speak on behalf of the imperialists. Whatever they're told to say, they do it. Maybe it's because, well, they're given something, I don't know. But Africans need to understand their history and wake up. So that's our fight as well. My biggest regret is having spent a good part of my youth listening to radio stations like RFI and France 24. I've been in countries where those radio stations were shut down. But we would use apps to record their news broadcasts so we could listen. But at some point, something clicked. I started to realize that they were conditioning our minds to accept what they wanted. It's their narrative that they want us to learn. And since then, I've started to see things for what they are. And I understood that what they're doing is very dangerous. And today, more than ever, I realize that they have conditioned the minds, especially of Africans. So, you can play a big role in awakening the consciousness of young people so that people understand how the world works and don't let themselves be led astray by those people. When we watch the parade of the machines that won the war, that is the T-34s up to the modern vehicles, it shows us the technological evolution of the Russian army, and it inspires us as well to get to work so that we can develop in the same direction. Relations are going very well, and I can say that for the past 2 years now, things have started off very well, and we are working on deepening the areas of defense and security, but also education, and later on, the commercial sector and other aspects. So, we have staggered the different areas so that we can exchange a lot and share many experiences, because we also have a lot to learn from Russia in the field of education, especially in the sciences. Now, it must be said that up to today, gold is the main export product in Burkina Faso. But we have set agriculture in motion, first for self-sufficiency, but also for foreign trade and export. The terrorists are reinforced by many foreign fighters who come from elsewhere, who are not, in fact. If I take the case of Burkina Faso, there are many criminals in Burkina Faso, but they are not Burkinabe. There are also trainers who come from many countries to teach them a lot of techniques.
But what is their interest?
It's not really terrorism, it's imperialism. Their goal is to keep us in a state of permanent war, so that we cannot develop and so they can continue to plunder our resources. So, they have every interest in bringing in specialists in mines to lay various types of mines and explosives experts. Today, the terrorists use drones to fight and everything. So, these are professionals from certain countries who come to teach them all of this. All of this is to keep us in a state of insecurity. But we are aware of the situation. We adapt each time to their methods of operation, and we will continue the fight until we have recovered the entirety of the Sahel. So, all the countries that are fighting today for their more economic independence, we are trying to collaborate better with these countries, because there are many structures to put in place, and there are many areas that need to be upgraded in the three countries. Because as you know, from an economic standpoint, we are not at the same level, and from a military perspective, there are many aspects to consider. We need to try to balance things out. And so, this requires the establishment of many structures and numerous meetings. And free movement requires a certain number of parameters to be put together. You must have seen that we did a lot of work to come up with a single security document for travel and everything. So it's evolving, and things are going very well. I think they themselves contributed to diminishing their own influence, because they have a paternalistic view. of our relationship. You see, whenever you look at everything we do, every initiative we take, it's always about Russia. Someone speaks and they say they're influenced by Russia. Everything that happens, it's Russia. Why do they have their eyes closed like that? So Africans aren't capable of developing anything. Africans aren't capable of inventing, innovating, or taking initiatives. That's what we're fighting against. And look at their speeches. Look at their speeches. Even the French president, always in his speeches, says that young Africans are influenced by Russia. It said, and if you listen to Western media, they spend all their time lying. And look today, the AES, which is a model that's starting to take shape, they can't go a single day without talking about Burkina or the AES. It's impossible for them. And every time they try to spread information, to divide, to manipulate the youth. But it doesn't work anymore. I think people are aware enough. Now people have their eyes open. Through communication, they managed to rewrite history. And as for African history, they schemed everything to spread lies. As a result, some young Africans don't even know the history of Africa or what Africa has accomplished.